Namaste, dear soul family. Welcome to the eSpirit World channel. You met them, and it felt like fate, didn't it? The connection was electric, this feeling that you'd finally found the person your soul had been looking for. But slowly, over time, that magic has gotten lost in friction. Arguments that seem to come out of nowhere, a constant feeling of being misunderstood, and that little voice in the back of your head whispering, is this really supposed to be this hard? You love them, you really do, but you can't shake the feeling that you're trying to force two puzzle pieces together that just don't fit. What if that feeling isn't just in your head? What if the universe itself is trying to give you a sign? Vedic astrology, also known as Jyotish, gives us a profound way to look at the hidden blueprint of our relationships. It goes way beyond just your sun sign to reveal the deep cosmic energies that either pull two people together or push them apart. Today, we are going to uncover the 7 critical signs of an incompatible relationship according to this ancient science. And one of these, a flaw called Nadi Dosha, is seen as such a major red flag that it can overshadow almost everything else. Stick with me, because understanding these signs could finally bring you the clarity you've been searching for. Section 1. The Low Guna Milan Score, a shaky foundation. Let's start with the most famous tool in the Vedic compatibility toolbox, the Guna Milan, or Ashtakuta matching. You've probably seen this online. It's a score out of 36 points. Think of this score as the basic report card for your relationship's potential. This system looks at 8 different areas, or kutas, to see how you two match up. These kutas cover everything from ego and spiritual harmony to mutual attraction, your psychological wavelength, and even sexual compatibility. So, the first big sign of incompatibility is simple, a low score. Specifically, any score below 18 out of 36 is considered a major astrological heads-up. A low score doesn't just point to one problem, it suggests that you lack synergy across the board. It's the cosmic reason why you might feel like you're speaking to different languages. Maybe one of you needs to talk everything out, while the other is more reserved. One of you craves adventure, while the other is a total homebody. These aren't just little personality quirks, they're deep energetic patterns that, without a decent Guna Milan score, will probably lead to constant friction. It's that feeling of always rowing upstream, where even simple choices become a struggle because your core natures just aren't in sync. Section 2. Bhakut Dosha, the Great Divide. Alright, let's say your Guna Milan score is okay, maybe a 24 or 25. You might breathe a sigh of relief, but a good astrologer immediately looks for specific, powerful flaws called doshas. The second sign of a troubled connection is something called Bhakut Dosha. This is a serious flaw that gets 7 points in the system, and it guns your emotional bond and family happiness. This dosha happens when your moon signs are in a particularly challenging position from each other, like a 6 to 8, 9 to 5, or 12 to 2 alignment. Astrologically, these are tough spots. The 6 to 8 axis, for example, is linked to conflict and health issues, while the 12 to 2 can point to financial strain and separation. While a Bhakut dosha is considered a serious warning that can point to major emotional distance or financial stress, it's not a final verdict. Many couples find ways to work through it. In a relationship, this doesn't always feel like a big, angry fight. It feels more like a void. It's when you're living with someone you love, but you feel deeply, painfully lonely. It's that sense that you can't share your biggest wins or your deepest fears with them because there's some kind of invisible wall between you. This emotional gap can make building a life and a family together feel like an uphill battle. Section 3. Gana Dosha, the clash of personalities. Have you ever been with someone where small disagreements have this habit of blowing up into huge, draining fights? Where you feel like your partner's basic approach to life is completely alien to yours? That could be the third sign, Gana Dosha. The Gana Kuta basically sorts people into one of three temperaments. There's Deva, which is divine, patient, and gentle. There's Manunsha, which is human, a mix of good and bad. And there's Rakshasa, which literally means demonic, but a better translation is a personality that's dominant, strong-willed, and sometimes aggressive. Now, any mismatch can create a little static, but the combination of a Deva Gana person and a Rakshas Gana person is famously tough. The Deva partner tends to be idealistic and seeks harmony. The Rakshasa partner is a realist, often a bit cynical, who tackles the world head-on. This isn't just a difference of opinion, it's a clash of worldviews. The Deva will see the Rakshas as harsh and negative. The Rakshas will see the Deva as naive and unrealistic. This deep-seated difference can lead to a cycle of misunderstandings and bitter fights, making a peaceful life together very, very difficult. If any of this is starting to sound a little *2* familiar, I'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment below and let me know which of these signs you've wondered about in your own life. Your story might just be the thing that helps someone else. And hey, if you're getting something out of this, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. We go deep on this stuff to help you navigate life with a little more wisdom, and you won't want to miss what's next. Section 4. Mangalik Dosha, the Mars Effect. This is probably the most famous, or maybe infamous, dosha in Indian astrology. The fourth sign is an unresolved Mangalik Dosha. This happens when Mars, the planet of fire and energy, is sitting in the 1st, 4th, 7th, 8th, or 12th house of a person's birth chart. Mars is all about energy, action, passion, and, yes, aggression. When it's in one of these key houses, its fiery nature gets turned up to 11 and can be aimed right at the relationship. The real problem comes up when a person with this Mangalik energy marries a non-Mangalik. The intense, sometimes argumentative energy of the Mangalik can completely overwhelm their partner, leading to constant power struggles and instability. In the real world, this looks like a relationship of extreme highs and lows. The passion can be off the charts, but the fights are just as intense and damaging. It can feel like you're always walking on eggshells, where one wrong word can set off a huge explosion. While it's often said that two Mangaliks marrying can balance this energy out, a mismatch can feel more like a battleground than a partnership. Section 5. Grih Matri Mismatch, the Mental Disconnect. The fifth sign is quieter than explosive fights or an emotional void, but it can be just as damaging over time. It's a mismatch in Grih Matri, which means planetary friendship. This part of the reading looks at the relationship between the planets that rule you and your partner's moon signs. In astrology, planets are friends, enemies, or neutral to each other. For instance, if your moon sign is ruled by the Sun and your partner's is ruled by Saturn, that's a classic enemy pair. The Sun is the king, bright, confident, a little ego-driven. Saturn is the servant, patient, disciplined, and a stickler for the rules. When you put those two energies in a relationship, you get a major psychological disconnect. This isn't about shouting matches. It's about a feeling that your partner just doesn't respect the way you think. The Sun person feels like the Saturn person is a downer who's always holding them back. The Saturn person thinks the Sun person is arrogant and totally impractical. This leads to a relationship where you feel like your ideas are always shot down and your perspective is never understood. Over the years, that feeling of not being seen can destroy intimacy, leaving you with two people who live together, but whose minds are in completely different worlds. Section 6. The dreaded Nadi Dosha, the karmic and genetic red flag. And now we come to the sixth sign, and arguably the most talked about of them all, Nadi Dosha. In that 36-point system, this one Kuta holds the most weight, a full 8 points. That's because Nadi is connected to our very essence, our health, our constitution, and our ability to have healthy children. There are 3 Nadis, Adi, Vata, Madhya, Pitta, and Antya, Kapha, which line up with the body types in Ayurveda. Nadi dosha happens when both partners have the exact same Nadi. You'd think that would be a good thing, right? But in astrology, it's considered the most serious compatibility flaw. Why? Well, the traditional belief is that it may indicate a risk of health problems for the couple and, particularly, for their children. It's important to state that this is a traditional astrological view, not a modern scientific fact. Beyond the physical, it's said to point to a deep energetic repulsion. There's a saying that people with the same Nadi will either feel zero attraction or an intense, fiery attraction that burns out fast, leaving the relationship feeling lifeless. Because it's considered so significant, many traditional astrologers advise extreme caution with the Nadi dosha, but they don't see it as an absolute no. Instead, they see it as a major signal that there are deep energetic issues that must be understood and addressed for the relationship to have a chance at vitality. Section 7. Malefic planets hitting the 7th house, the attack on your marriage. Finally, our 7th sign is something that sits outside the Guna Milan system but is absolutely essential. It's when the 7th house in your birth chart, the house of marriage and partnership, is getting hit by difficult or malefic planets. When this house is weak or under attack, the relationship often is too. The main troublemakers here are Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu. When these planets are sitting in or staring at your 7th house, they create huge challenges. Saturn brings delays, frustrations, and a sense of burden to the marriage. Rahu brings obsession, dissatisfaction, and unconventional desires that can rock the boat. And Ketu brings detachment and a desire to escape, making a person feel weirdly disconnected from their partner. This can happen even if a couple has a great Guna Milan score of 30 or more. On paper, they look perfect, but if the 7th house is taking a beating in both of their charts, they can face endless obstacles. A good astrologer will also double-check this in the Navansa or D9 chart, which is the specific chart for marriage. If the 7th house is weak there, too, it's a powerful sign the relationship is in for some serious trials, no matter how good it felt at the start. So, that's our tour through the 7 big astrological signs of incompatibility: a low Guna Milan score, the Bhakut dosha divide, a Gana dosha clash, fiery Mangalik dosha, the Grih Matri disconnect, the profound Nadi dosha, and tough planets hitting your 7th house. But here's the most important thing to take away from all of this. Astrology isn't meant to give you a death sentence for your relationship. Think of it as a divine science of light, a cosmic roadmap. A roadmap doesn't tell you you're doomed, it shows you where the mountains and rough patches are. Knowing a dosha exists can actually be incredibly empowering. It gives your struggles a name. It lets you and your partner consciously work on the exact weak spots in your relationship, whether that means managing tempers, learning to be more intimate, or just giving each other more space. This knowledge is the first step. The stars might point you in a direction, but they don't force you to go there. The final success of your relationship is in your hands, in the understanding, compassion, and effort you bring to it every single day. If you feel like your relationship is up against some of these challenges and you want to understand your own unique cosmic blueprint, the next step is a personalized chart reading. A consultation can shine a light on your specific dynamics and give you guidance that's truly tailored to you. You can find a link to book a session in the description below. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the heart of Vedic astrology. May you find the clarity and peace you're looking for.